Okay, I think we're live. Hey guys, Heidi Easley here at Texas Art and Stall, and I teach you how to make money teaching paint parties online and in person. And we have Dana here. Welcome, Dana. Thanks for being here.
Hey, you're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so tell us what your business name is, and we're going to get right to it here in just a second and talk paint parties.
Awesome. Well, I'm Dana from Imagine Nation Paint, and that's actually three separate words. So it's Imagine, then Nation, and then Paint. And I'm from Smith Mountain Lake, Virginia, and I have been working with Heidi for about a year now, and it has been like the best experience of my life. And so I'm just so excited to be here and talking with her today.
Oh, well, we're so happy you're here. And we have Connie saying hello. Y'all, if y'all come on and give Dana some love. We want to show her some love. I'm sure being on here is a little nerve-wracking. And I don't know why I have an echo. So if y'all can hear that echo, let me know. It's weird, huh? I don't know why it's doing it.
I can't even hear it. I don't know, I don't know if it's on your end or if everybody else can hear, but
can y'all hear the echo? Because if I whisper, it does not happen as much. Okay, so Dana, go ahead and tell us. I know a lot of people on here watching, and we have people from Hawaii. Oh my gosh, so many.
Oh, how cool.
Awesome. Okay, so go ahead and tell us your last paint party you just did. Tell us, first off, why did you want to do a paint party? Let's start with that, and then tell us the success you just had.
Well, so like what really got me into wanting to do paint parties, it's so funny because I had actually thought about giving it a shot like a few years ago, but I saw a friend who was doing it and I had like never even been to a paint party before. So I was like, oh my gosh, like I have no idea like how to even do that or what I would do. I've always liked art, so I felt like I could probably do it, but I just didn't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so of course, like, you know, when you have like all that fear and anxiety set in, you just kind of like throw it on the back burner and you're just like, whatever. Well, then like this, well, I guess was like going into 2020, the craziest year of like the history of the world. You know, who knew that all of this crazy stuff was going to be happening? And I was just like, I really got to find like something to do. Like I knew, you know how like you feel like you're supposed to have this purpose, and you don't really know what you're supposed to be doing, but you know it's supposed to be something. And so I was kind of at that point. I was like, God, I need a breakthrough. Like, what am I supposed to be doing with my life? And so art had always been there, but I just never really had seriously considered it to be something of like a business and a way to bring my family income. And so I think like especially once we went through a miscarriage at the beginning of 2020, and I think that that was kind of like my sign from God, like you've got to do something to plug yourself into something positive that's going to help you to heal, but also it gives you something to keep your mind focused on at the same time. And then that's how I found you. I found you from Google. I Googled, how do you teach a paint party? And all of your YouTube videos came up, and I was like binge watching you on YouTube. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is the coolest thing ever. So it's kind of history from there. I started with PPHQ, and oh my gosh, I've learned so much. And it's just like, it's completely changed my life. In the community, it's like everything about it is awesome.
Oh my gosh, Dana. Well, first off, I'm so sorry about your miscarriage. I can't even imagine because I have a daughter, but I've never gone through that. So
Yeah.
I don't even know like how that would feel or how that would be. So first off, I'm so sorry. And for you to come on here and still be so positive, like you must have, you know, I mean, you have the scripture in the background. I'm sure you've prayed a lot about that and
Oh,
you know, gone through that. So did you find like having a purpose or a focus has helped you get through that? Or maybe what's the secret for that?
yeah, absolutely. That last year, so when we went through this in January, that was actually our second miscarriage. So we went through another one in 2015. And of course that was the hardest because we didn't have any kids yet. And so I think like going through that period of time, like when you're trying to just figure like, okay, what's the next step with my life right now? Because it's really like a process of grieving. And I really found healing in painting. I hadn't painted in so long, in several years, really. And so during that process of grief that I was going through, painting really helped heal my heart. And I kind of came through a connection with it. And so I think I already kind of knew what to do in the back of my head the second go round. And I was like, okay, well, why not do the paint parties then? Because it's going to make me paint. It's going to make me do something that I know makes me happy and feel better. And so I think just like having that intimate time, like for yourself and God, and being able to work through doing something that is positive to you and like makes you happy, it's very therapeutic. And I think that, if you're going through something like that, you've just got to find something that you can put yourself into to help yourself heal. And for me, that was what painting was. So it's definitely been awesome.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I just hear you. Let me try something real quick. Let me turn my volume. Turn your volume down just a little, Dana. Let me see if
Okay.
because I think this is fine. Oh, good. There it is. Yay! No echo. Okay, good. So what I wanted to say with that is I know we have a lot of people that have been through the same thing. We have people on here that Majorie saying, so sorry, been there myself. And Sharon, Dana, you're such a sweet inspiration. Yeah, Natasha saying, yes, art is healing. Good you found a way to keep moving through that time. And Pamela saying, painting is in my heart and soul. Doing art helps us heal. And I mean, just talking to you, you are so freaking strong. I can't even imagine, going through it once and then also having to go through it twice. And then not only taking something that was such a probably like really sad, dark time and then turning it into something positive. So I know this is about paint parties, but I always go back to really, it's not about paint parties, is it? Like, that's just
it really isn't. No. And I think that that's kind of like been my mission. Like, I feel like, if you're a believer in God, like I know not everybody might be, and that's fine. But like if you are a believer, I think that it's just a process of learning how to build your faith and like also seeing like God is placed in all of these situations in your life and he'll allow you to go through them because there's something that he wants you to learn and strengthen from in each situation and each struggle. And you just have to learn how to hang in there and get stronger from it. I wasn't always strong. I haven't always been strong. And I still have, my days where I question myself. That's completely normal. We're human. But I think it's the process of like learning to trust God and like see that he has a plan and a purpose for you. Yeah. And like when you finally lean in and tap into that and you like are open and available to him, and allow him to show you what that purpose is, then that's when everything just kind of falls in place. And so that's kind of where all of this came into place for me. So it took a long time, but I finally got there.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so happy you're here because you are such a bright light in, Paint Party headquarters. And also I know you've been helping our team as well. So we just love you and are so grateful you're here. So you're welcome. So let's talk a little bit about, I know some of y'all have, and we have a lot of people that are relating to you. So you'll definitely have to go back in the comments and read some of these sweet, sweet comments for you.
Absolutely.
And Belinda says, oops, she did not mean to do the mad face. She did an emoji. So if y'all don't mind, if y'all want to show some love with hearts, so it doesn't look like it's all mean, a mean face, we'll counteract that one. So no problem, Belinda, we'll counteract it. Okay, so I want to ask a little bit because I know you just did a paint party of like 20 plus people. Tell us, number one, was it profitable? Did you make money? And number two, what was your big takeaways from it?
Oh, wow. So when COVID came along, I had just gotten started with like people you and trying to like get my business going. And then of course everything hit. So you're like, oh gosh, what am I supposed to do now? Because I had like 5 in-person paint parties booked.
Oh wow.
And then as soon as COVID hit, I had to like literally cancel all of them. So that's when you're like stuck in the headlights. You're like, okay, what am I going to do? You have two decisions. You can either stop and freeze or you can pivot. And I know you talk about pivoting all the time. And so a smart business owner will pivot. You will find a way to like make something else work. It helps for us being creative because we can always come up with new ideas pretty quickly. So I think having that support from you and PPHQ and just being able to plug in and like come up with different strategies that really helped because I was able to, of course, during that time, start doing online paint parties. I had no idea what I was doing. I had never done really much of anything online, but you kind of just like wing it. And when you're really desperate and you want something bad enough, you'll do whatever it takes to make it happen. And so that was really what it was. I had all my guts and glory, and I was just like, okay, we're going to just give this a shot and see how it goes. And so that's what I did. And I didn't get to even do my first in-person paint party until October.
Oh, wow.
So I've really only done like 5 in-person parties.
Wow. And it's crazy because, you know, it's like a lot of people did that. They were gearing up, they were getting excited. And then, you know, we're looking at 1 year, 1 year anniversary of when, you know, the world shut down. And so how in a business where it's in person, you know, how do you survive? Like, how do you make that happen? And, you know, you said it, you pivot, you figure it out. And that is the greatest, awesomest thing. I don't even think awesomest is a word, but we're going to pretend it is.
It is now.
It is now. I think that's the greatest thing for not only entrepreneurs, but creative entrepreneurs, because you know, we're so visual and there can be so much coolness that happens with that and so much growth with that. And so in a second, we're going to talk a little bit about you doing that in-person paint party. But I want to just share real quick, any of y'all that are watching that are wanting to learn this, we're doing a boot camp. It's only $15. And you're going to not only learn how to paint, but you're also going to see behind the scenes of me teaching an in-person paint party. Next week, I'm going to be teaching it and streaming it live, as well as doing a breakdown of everything. So if you want to know about that, just type in boot camp and you're going to be able to hear a lot about that. And of course, if you have questions. So,
and that's a steal, like $15. You can't beat that. I mean, that's a steal.
Yes, we have put I you know, keep telling people, I'm like, this is going to be the best online event we've ever put together. So if you're like not sure, I mean, it's a $15 risk, people. It's
right. Yeah, if you have like the smallest, tiniest inkling in you that's like, I wonder, like, go and just like listen to what Heidi has to say, because it will be like very valuable time spent, even if you don't do anything afterwards. Like, you're going to get so much value for $15 just in those 3 days. It's going to be awesome.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Oh, we have so many people that have already signed up. So let us know if you already signed up for the boot camp. If you haven't, just type boot camp or yes, I want to know. And then we'll make sure to get you the link. So, okay, so here you are. You're doing your in-person party. Did you do, what did you paint and was it profitable?
Yeah. So what I have really been doing is I have worked a few different events over the last few months with a local vineyard. So when you have like a nice upper scale venue like that, then you can do a little bit more upscale, I guess you could say, works of art. So I think with that particular audience, I found that they really like doing stuff on wood. Mm-hmm. And so when you're doing stuff with wood, obviously you can charge a little bit more. And so we've had average 25 people or so ish to come to each of the parties there. And we've done like the porch leaders. We've done 2 sets of porch leaders. We've done the cute little wooden trucks. I mean, they've had an absolute blast. And yes, to answer the question, it was definitely profitable, especially at Christmas time when you're like looking for money, you know, for your family and Christmas gifts. It was a huge, huge blessing. I've been blessed with every single one that I've done.
Yeah. And I know the money is obviously awesome, but isn't it cool? And, you know, we've talked a lot about art healing. We've had a lot of people Oh, and Amelia and PPHQ members, if you're in Paint Party headquarters, you do not have to pay. So just go to the announcements inside Paint Party headquarters and it'll tell you exactly how to get into the boot camp. For those of y'all that are not in Paint Party headquarters, go ahead and just type, would love to know about the boot camp. We'll get you the information. And again, like we said, it's only $15. But we have you doing this, you're teaching it, but then also the greatest gift I know with a paint party, because a lot of times people are like, somebody wants me to do it for this, like really cheap. And I'm like, paint parties really aren't about the supplies. The supplies,
Right.
stuff like that is relatively cheap. And it's really the service. It's you prepping, it's you cleaning up, it's you teaching, it's all of that knowledge. And then also you're running a party, like you're making an experience for people. So talk a little bit about like how those people feel when they're at a paint party and how you feel when you're at a paint party, because I definitely have some stuff to say about that. And I'm sure some of y'all have some comments as well.
Oh, for sure. And I'm sure everybody knows that the prep part is probably the most stressful, because you really do. It's like a lot of work to prep for one of these, especially if you've got a lot of people. But like once you get there and you're in it, oh my gosh, like in-person paint parties is where it's at. I love in-person. I was so nervous the first time that I did one, and then I got there and it felt completely natural. Like I was in my zone, and it was just the best feeling, like being able to go around to every single table and just encourage people for 2.5 hours. And I think that that's like the big part for me that I love so much, because you've got people in there who come, like even older women who come in there and they've like never even touched a paintbrush before. And they're like so nervous and so scared. And even like when you're going around and talking to them, you're like, oh, that looks so good. And they're like, oh, I don't know if it really looks that good. But then you just keep encouraging them, and you're like so positive and happy, and it's contagious. It rubs off on them. And by the time that they leave, they're like, oh my goodness, like this was so much fun. Look what I created. I definitely want to come back again next time. And when you hear that and you just see like the smile on their faces while they're doing it and they're having fun with their friends or their family members, it is like the most rewarding thing, like to experience, like not just for them, but for yourself too. It makes you feel really good knowing that you contributed to somebody's happiness. Maybe that was what they needed. Especially like with everything that we've been going through. I mean, people getting out of the house to do something with other people is not exactly, something that we do all the time right now. And so they're having the opportunity to do that, I think, is really exciting and rewarding. And that's been the biggest blessing for me, is by blessing other people, you get blessed in return. So it's been really awesome.
Yeah, and you're such a good encourager. And I want to know in the comments if you feel like that's like, if you yourself, like in the comments, put in here if you feel like you're an encourager, because I didn't know I was that person for a long time until I kept hearing it. And I think it just happens. I think that it's just like some of us it comes out more naturally, and some of us that's kind of like our gift, and I feel like that's definitely a gift for you too. That encouragement. And yeah, I'm the same way, Dana. Like there is nothing that makes me happier than being in a room full of people painting, good music playing, and just walking around talking and painting. Like that is definitely my happy place. And I know a lot of us have had to pivot and do this online, especially this past year. And what we want to encourage you, both of us be encouraging here. We want to encourage you that, wherever you're at, if you can't do them in person yet, start looking at how you can do this online. And then once you do open up, start putting those in, because like we have our in-person party next week, which I'm streaming for you for the boot camp. And I am so excited. Like, I can't wait to get my cowboy boots on and get out there and teach, because I know that feeling it gives me, and we're able to help. And we have a ton of people that say, yes, they're an encouraging person, and almost have to be. Awesome. Okay. So what is your final words of wisdom you want to leave? Anybody who maybe is wanting to make a couple extra $100 a month to teach a paint party, or but they're nervous or they're afraid or they're scared, like what would you tell them? Because I know you have been in that position.
Oh, yeah. Well, I actually have a couple of things come to mind. First of all, for all the encouragers out there, or even if you're not an encourager, tap into your spiritual gifts, what comes naturally, because once you start tapping into that, God's going to open up the door to your purpose. And that's really going to help everything fall into place. So we're meant to use that. And if you're an encourager, you're supposed to be encouraging people. So go out and encourage people. Use your artwork as a door and let it open that opportunity for you to encourage others. The other thing is listen to people that you would trade places with. This is something that I have learned over the years of being an entrepreneur. If you wouldn't trade places with them, then you need to shut the negativity out and you need to laser focus on the people who are bringing you up and lifting you up and helping you get where you want to go. So if you're in PPHQ, or if you might be in PPHQ and you want to trade places with Heidi, do exactly what Heidi does and listen to everything that she says. Soak it up like a sponge. It's so important. And other than that, like, use your story. Everybody needs somebody to relate to, and use your art, like I said, as a doorway to share your story with people and give them somebody to relate to. I mean, it's so important. We all need that person that we can relate to, and this is one way of doing it. And so your business isn't just necessarily about painting, like Heidi said. It's about opening the door to building relationships and helping others through art. So I think, like, once you figure out your mission, what's something that you've gone through in your life that you can share with other people to help them and help them heal through finding art. So I don't know, go with it.
I love that. I love everything you said. And it's so true. I love how you said, if you wouldn't trade places with them, don't listen to them. That is so good, because it's so true. We'll have, these big dreams or these big aspirations, and then we go say it to somebody, and I call them a dream crusher, because we'll say it, we're so excited, and then the next thing you know, they've burst through our bubble, and it's nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with their fears, and they're scared, and so their fear is going to project onto you. And so something that you thought was going to be so amazing, now it's like, can I really do that? And then we start to shrink into that projection. And then also you said, relate, you talked about openly your 2 miscarriages at the beginning of this, and how you used art to, have that, and to, go through that process. And is it okay to say what is happening right now? Like, are we allowed to?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
You announce it. Let's tell everybody the happy ending.
So we're 22 weeks pregnant now. So we are expecting our second little boy in July. So God is very good. He's definitely keeping his promises. And it's just been really awesome to see, where he has brought everything in the last year. I asked for breakthroughs, and he gave me breakthroughs. So
oh my gosh,
it's been really great.
That makes me so happy. And yes, congratulations. People are saying in the comments. That's so awesome. So I just want to say, Dana, thank you so much for taking your time. Those of y'all that are interested in learning more about how you could do a paint party, sign up for the boot camp. It's literally only $15, and you'll get the recording if you can't see it live. But please sign up for it, because you're going to want to know more about it. And then if they want to find out more about you, Dana, I know you've been so transparent and so honest with us, and just you have a lot to share, and you're very, very encouraging. So where can they go find you if they want to look you up and find out more?
Of course. So I'm on Facebook. Like I said, Imagine Nation Paint, 3 separate words. You can go on Instagram. I'm on Pinterest, like playing around in that area a little bit. So just come find me. I'm like so excited to meet new people. I'll say one more thing. If you're on the fence about the boot camp or PPHQ, you've got to ask yourself 2 questions. 1, what's the worst that can happen? And 2, what's the best thing that can happen? So think about it.
I love
and
that.
You make your decision based off of that.
I love that. The risk versus the reward is so
right.
true.
because you have no idea what's in store if you just give something a try.
Yeah. And I always say this paint party adventure, you have no idea where it's going to lead you. It could just be the first step of many other things that are going to open up for you. So thank you so much, Dana, for sharing. You're awesome.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're awesome too.
All right, y'all go follow her and make sure you sign up for the boot camp. The link is in the description. Or if you type in boot camp, we'll come back. And the boot camp starts next Tuesday. So sign up. You're going to love it. We're giving away tons and tons of prizes. And speaking of prizes, I would love for Tony Lands, if you would please message me, Tony Lands, and give me your email. I'm going to send you a little prize just for being here. So thank y'all so much for being here. And thanks again, Dana.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.